Today, I'm going to teach you 3 different knife lanyards that are so pretty, they look like jewelry. And on top of that, I'll show you how to use them as legit survival tools, so you can unlock their full functionality. Welcome, fellow seekers of steel! I just came home from South America, where I had to live under extreme conditions, which included every climate from snowy mountains to sandy deserts. And believe it or not, Paracord played a big role every step along the way. So I came up with this video where I explain everything I learned, and I will help you pick between 3 types of lanyards, whether you want them for EDC, tactical, or any other outdoor application. So let's start with lanyard number 1, because probably it is the nicest and most decorative, and this is what I would recommend to most people on an EDC pocket knife. This knife lanyard includes a loop that makes it easily removable, a couple of snake knots for added grip, an optional lanyard bead for fashion, a paracord diamond knot to make it bulky, and eventually my 45-degree melting technique that seals the cord in a nice and presentable way. And before I teach you how to make this one, I must tell you the advantages of this lanyard, so you can decide whether or not this is the right one for you, or you should go with lanyard number 2 or number 3. So first and foremost, this lanyard is best for compact pocket knives with tiny grips, because it is designed to add more grip for your pinky in case you can't have a full grip on your knife. The Spyderco Para 3 is a great example, because if I hold it without using the forward finger choil, my pinky falls off the grip, but after attaching the lanyard, using this knife is much more comfortable. Having some cord is also great for small fixed blades like this Spyderco subway buoy, or neck knives such as this Fox Diagnostic, which without a lanyard doesn't even have a grip. So now that we are done with the introduction, let's sit down and learn how to make lanyard number 1. As a first step, I need to measure out some cord somewhere around 2 feet or 60 centimeters and seal the ends so the external cord would stay aligned with the inner strings. Then I need to find a midpoint, push it across the lanyard tube and turn it into a loop. This part is very important because this is what makes our lanyard removable. And now that we are done with the preparations, we can start weaving our cord. The first technique I'm about to teach you is called snake knot, which is quick and easy to make. All I need to do is to form a loop with the left side cord, then grab the string on the right and push it across the loop I just made from above and pull it across the loop one more time. And now I can tighten it down by pulling the 2 outgoing cords in 2 separate directions. The placement of the very first snake knot is key, and my big recommendation here is to grab your knife, look how the cord fits, and try to place the snake knot right after the edge of your palm. This will make your lanyard a lot more comfy to use, and it will not get in your way when you open and close your blade. After we found the sweet spot, now we can add a couple more snake knots and then apply our lanyard bead. Here we have to make sure that the cords do not crisscross each other inside the bead and each string remains on the proper side. Then we can go ahead and start the most difficult but also most satisfying part of making our lanyard by tying the stopper knot, also known as paracord diamond knot. The way we should start this is by forming a loop with the right string and then twisting it upwards. Then I'm grabbing the left string and pulling it clockwise underneath all the cords. Then I'm going above the right edge of the loop, pushing it under itself, and then pulling it back up again, going above the left edge of the loop. And if I did everything the proper way, now I should see this diamond shape forming with a square right in the middle. Then I can switch cords by grabbing the right side string again, and I pull it clockwise above everything, passing both base strings. Then I'm pulling it across the square right in the middle from below. Then I'm repeating the same thing with the left side cord. I'm pulling it clockwise, I'm passing the base of the right side cord, and then I'm pulling it across the center of my square. And after this is done, I have to gently pull all 4 strings, both incoming and both outgoing, all at the same time, and eventually this mess will become one beautiful paracord diamond knot also known as Paracord stopper knot. But before tightening it down too much, I need to place my diamond knot right next to my bead, meaning that I have to reduce the distance by pulling each string going inside the knot and tracking the root. This step requires patience and it's kind of messy, because I have to track down each turn one by one, but with time and practice it will become very easy. And if after this step the diamond knot is still not snug with the bead, I usually solve the problem by loosening up the snake knots above the bead and walking them down until the lanyard would become one beautiful piece. And eventually, when everything is right and I'm happy with my knot placement, I go ahead and cut the ends at a 45-degree angle. Then I pull back the external cord as far as I can, which reveals the 7 inner white strings, and then I trim as much white cord as possible. This step is absolutely necessary to seal the cord nicely, because this way the white cords will not melt into the colorful external layer. Then I grab my lighter and I start heating up the end slowly and gently, matching the angle of the cut. And after it starts melting, I gently close it with 2 of my fingers. This will leave me an ugly and uneven melted seal. And to make it nice and crisp, I will grab my sharp scissors and finish my seal with a clean cut. And boom! If I did every step right, I would end up with the prettiest knife lanyard on earth, which is borderline jewelry. And this is how you make lanyard number 1 from start to finish. Lanyard number 2 is very similar to this one, except it comes without the paracord diamond knot, which makes it less decorative, but in exchange it has a couple of big advantages. This is much more of a practical solution that places function over form. Since it only has snake knots, it's much quicker to make, and you can also take it apart with one hand, so you can actually salvage this lanyard to tie things together out in the field. And by taking these individual white strings out, you can have access up to 6 feet of rope, which is a lot. Both of these lanyards will help you to remove your EDC from your pocket, because they are easy to grab, so you can get to your knives a lot faster and a lot safer. And since paracord is very grippy, it also prevents accidental drops. But even if you were clumsy and the drop eventually happens, a vibrant knife lanyard makes it a lot easier to find your gear. The best example here is my Leatherman Signal survival multitool, which is very hard to spot if I drop it in a forest. This is why I carry mine with this Dayglow Paracord lanyard, because yellow is the easiest color to see during the night and even underwater. This is why Spyderco makes yellow knives for divers, for example, but in my experience having just a yellow lanyard is much better in practice, because this way I still have the ability to camouflage my gear by detaching the lanyard, and I'm not stuck out there with a screaming yellow knife that gives my location away. So on purpose, I designed these lanyards to be removable. This way I can also take them off before cutting messy things and then put them back after I finish. My Spyderco Military is a great example, because I use it for cooking almost every day, and that's why I rock it with this fun little bacon bit from Parade. But soaking the paracord in meat juice is kinda gross, so I really appreciate that I can take it off without cutting the cord. This also allows me to easily transfer my lanyards to other knives or onto my keychain, but I can also put them on my backpack or wear them on my clothes, which unlocks a whole new dimension in their functionality. I often use my lanyards to hang my backpack on a tree branch so it won't get soaked in mud, and this way I can also keep it away from bugs. Used on a backpack or on a luggage, a distinctive looking lanyard also makes it obvious which bag is mine, so I can easily spot my belongings at an airport where all the bags look exactly the same. Plus the fact that they are removable also makes them great for seasonal picks, and if you wanna carry a Halloween lanyard throughout the spooky season, you can have this pumpkin bead for a couple of weeks, and then replace it with something else that fits Christmas. This way you can also tweak your gear to make it more socially acceptable in certain situations, Let's say you wanna hook up with a vegan chick from Brooklyn, then you can switch the bacon bead with a rainbow unicorn lanyard that she appreciates, and you can put back the bacon after you scored. But besides all jokes, I left my favorite lanyard to the end, which is not only a game changer when it comes to fixed blades, but it can also save your life in a lot of different ways. Let's say you go hiking and it is getting dark, so it is cold outside. And you were walking all day, so your grip is not that strong anymore. But still, you have to chop some wood to make a fire. In that case, it is pretty much necessary to attach your blade to your hand, so you won't send it flying across the forest while making fast, angular motions. This lanyard is also a lifesaver in a self-defense situation, when someone might come up to you and kick you in the stomach, or try to tackle you and take your knife. In such a scenario, you have a much higher chance keeping the blade, because the paracord will not allow them to take your knife and then use it against you. So in a nutshell, this lanyard literally works like a gunsling that attaches your knife to your hand, which prevents you from losing your last chance of survival. And if you think that I'm being too dramatic, you should know that I was already shot or stabbed over 10 times, plus I also walked away from a bombing, so we can say that I know a lot about injuries, and even though it is absolutely not the most optimal solution, this lanyard you see here can also work as a makeshift tourniquet, because it was designed to fit your arm. To simulate its use, I'm marking my forearm with a Sharpie, which is a very common spot for injuries. If you suffer from a cut like this, you usually have 2 to 5 minutes before you pass out, and if you don't have a dedicated tourniquet available, you must improvise one before you run out of time. So as soon as possible, you need to place the lanyard above the injury, stick the knife scale in the loophole, and twist it until the bleeding stops. And as weird as it sounds, I recommend practicing how this works, because on your arm there are only 2 spots where you can actually put it. And I can already feel that it started working, because my whole hand went completely numb. To prep lanyard number 3, I will use a fairly long cord around a full meter, which is roughly 3 feet. Then I need to attach it to my knife in a way it is removable, and then place 2 to 3 snake knots. But when I place the first one, I will have to try the length and make sure that I can fit my hand through the loop. If I found the perfect sweet spot, I go ahead, add a couple more snake knots, and then finish the lanyard with my paracord diamond knot, plus my 45-degree melting technique. In this specific case, I also added an extra snake knot between the bead and the diamond knot, because my school bead came with a GigaChat jawline, so this way my lanyard looks a lot more aesthetic. And on this lanyard it is okay to make this loophole slightly bigger, so your hand can fit through even if you have gloves on. And if after all this the lanyard moves around too much when you work with it, you can twist your wrist a couple of times to make it a snug fit. And if you wanna store the knife in your backpack and the lanyard annoys you, you can fix the lanyard with a silicone band so your knife travels nicely. This same silicone band also comes in handy if you holster the knife, so the lanyard won't catch into anything when you jump in and out of vehicles. And as you see, I invested a lot of thought into this video, because I genuinely think that paracording your knife is super important. So if you'd like to see my coolest accessories, you should click on this card and watch my previous upload, where I spent over $1,000 on Etsy to find the best lanyard beads. Thank you for sticking around all the way, and I'll see you in the next one.